What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? So today I have 4 microphones in front of me, excluding the 4th one, which is the onboard one, that we're going to go over. We're going to go over their price point, their features, and whether or not they're a good purchase. So let's get into this review and see what it's all about. So just to clarify, the 4th microphone that we have is the media mod on the GoPro Hero, and that's the baseline microphone that I'm going to be using throughout this whole video when comparing all these, and then I'll chime in on each one and hook them up, and so that way you could hear the different levels. But so we have a baseline and a neutral opinion about all 3 of these. I'm going to keep the omnidirectional microphone enabled on the GoPro media mod, and that's what you're going to be hearing as of now and throughout the whole video. So to introduce the wireless microphones in front of me, the first one I have to the left is the Hollyland Lark Max. Then in the middle we have the Rode Wireless Go. This is the 1st generation, not the 2nd gen, and I'll get into the reasons why. And then to the right we have the DJI wireless microphone as well. So just to erase the table of one of the microphones right away, which I'll still be comparing in the audio samples, but just to get it off the table so that way we don't have to really go over its features, I just want to briefly go over the Rode Wireless Go. Okay, they have the one in front of me, which is the Rode Wireless Go. Okay, they have a RX and a TX. So this is the TX transmitting, and then this is the RX, which is the receiving end. The Rode Wireless Go 2 will have 2 of the transmitting wireless pieces, and they have the Rode Wireless Pro, which I also don't have, which is a newer one than the 2nd generation, and they kind of look the same. Basically they still look the same. Okay, and then they have the Rode Wireless ME Compact, which is like their dumbed down version without the screen and all the additional stuff, just to keep things a little bit more budget friendly. Okay, so the Rode itself, we're going to go over the price point. So since the Rode Wireless Go you cannot purchase, it's going to be, you know, probably used, so price may vary, but the Rode Wireless Go will be about that $200 range, which will, you know, just be this but the updated version. And then the one that will compete with these 3 is the Rode Wireless Pro, which is going to cost $400. So Rode is kind of out of the running between these 2, especially with the price point and the features you're going to end up getting. So why didn't I purchase the Rode Wireless Pro or the 2nd generation of the Rode Wireless Go? Well, first of all, I do not like the screen. I mean, the screens are the same, the form and everything remain the same. The buttons are all the same, you know, with additional features of having the ability to run 2 of these transmitting microphones here. I mean, it didn't make sense for me to buy it. I also don't like the fact that fingerprints are, you know, really apparent on this stuff. You should have kept it matte black like this on the front as well, or they could have did something with this extra real estate and just made this all touchscreen. So they fell short, and they charge a lot for the Pros, especially with the competition being very good. Okay, power it up. So this isn't touchscreen, so in order for me to go through the menu, you got to use these 2 buttons, which is a pain in the neck. You have your RX and your TX battery life. Okay, if it goes dim like that, you can't see it. It's just say battery, but you just click the top power button once and it'll show back up. You have your gains and everything set right here, so that way there's no clipping. So I have mine set to be in the middle, so as you can see, if I click it, that's full, so it'll allow me to change where the clipping actually happens. So that's that part of it. So I leave it in the middle just so that way it's it usually works out the best for me anyways. And then here's your signal strength here to give you the signal between them. So that's kind of neat. But that's your Rode Wireless Go basic stuff. I do not like the fact that this little thing here where the microphone is, these little notches, this is for the wind muff, but the issue with the wind muff is they pop off. I don't like that at all. To me, they needed to redesign that, make it a little bit better, have something that pushes in and twist locks. Okay, so that's a big issue. You have the port for the microphone, of course, and then this one's a port to plug into your camera. Okay, so super basic. One other issue that I have with these is when this goes on your shirt, what ends up happening is this wants to flop in towards your chest, and then this becomes muffled when you talk, or if you have it higher up on the collar. So that becomes an issue. You have to run that wind muff just to keep it off your chest. But if you're trying to be discreet about it and slide this so it's on the outside, yeah, you're gonna see this, which is fine, but this ends up going in towards your chest, or if you have the wind muff, you're gonna still see the little poof ball hanging out. So that's not cool. Just little issues with this style microphone. So let's talk about the transmitters real quick, and then we'll go into the receivers. So first of all, the transmitter, both of them have magnets on the back. One thing I noticed with the Hollyland is it's a little bit easier to actuate, which to me would be better for very delicate garments where you don't want it to pull or tear. It's easier to take it off, whereas DJI is a lot stiffer. Like, you got to put some oomph in it. Also the magnets, Hollyland has a slightly weaker magnet, which I'll demonstrate here. As you could tell, the DJI pulled it off, but it's strong, so strong enough definitely to hold this on. So don't be worried about the magnet strength. The only issue with this is the fact that if it's too strong, like I said, it might be an issue with the garment. Okay. So I think this is a nicer setup. Also, this is a little bit oversized. The magnet's a little bit oversized of the clip, which allows me to get my fingernail under and pull up, take it off, or I could slide it to the edge and pull off. Okay, and I don't have to worry about orientation, so I could twist this thing all the way around, and I don't care because it's going to look like it belongs there. The DJI, on the other hand, it's a little bit narrower than the clip, as you can see, so I can't get my fingernail under there to lift it up. Sliding it, since it is a stronger magnet, you got to really put some force into sliding it in order to take it off. And if it goes sideways because you didn't put it on right and you want this facing out just because you want to hide this underneath your clothing article, what ends up happening is you're going to get this funky look, this square look that's no longer a square, it's a triangle. So I think Hollyland wins in the clip area and the aesthetics in the back if you're going to have this facing. So I definitely think the win goes here. Okay, now for the front side of the receiver, you do have the ridges here, and this has like a real light texture. Adds grip. These both add grip, but this one's going to collect a lot more dirt and debris, so as you can see. So I think this is going to be easier to clean and maintain. So the win goes to Hollyland again for cleanability and aesthetics. I just prefer it, but that's preference. Okay. The DJI has a round microphone on top. Hollyland has a microphone underneath this meshing, just like this. But the nice thing about this is this diffuser goes all the way around and picks up sound all the way around, and the microphone kind of recesses a little bit further in. Whereas this one here has the microphone on top, kind of exposed there. Whereas this one's under a diffuser. If you don't run the wind muff here, this kind of is protected a little bit more and it picks up sound everywhere. So I think this is a nicer option. So as far as the size of the transmitter, basically both of them are the same length. As you can see, they're about the same length. This one might be an 1/8 or a 1/16 of an inch taller, just slightly maybe. And then as far as width is concerned, the Hollyland is probably slightly wider. But I do like that this is a flat surface compared to this one, which has these large radiuses. This allows it to sit flat on your body without rolling as much, whereas this one with these large radiuses, yeah, it might seem or look smaller, but it could roll inside your garment, whereas this one's more stout. Okay, so function over, I guess, form. Now if your battery goes dead and you only have one of these available to you, or say both are being occupied, the two channels here, what you can do is plug in. At the bottom here you have the wireless charging right here, but also you have the USB-C, so you could plug in your external battery pack, run it in your pocket, run a wire up, and still utilize this. Whereas the DJI, it only has the pins here and the charging cable on the side, which means if you did need it in a pinch, that charging wire is going to come off the side and 90 down, which will be more apparent than this one. So it's a good choice to have it at the bottom. So that could be a make or break deal for you right away. You have your buttons on the side, your power, your port to put in a lav mic if you don't want to run this microphone and you have a lav mic you prefer. Okay, you have another button there. You have your record button, and then you also have right here your record light, so that way you can see it. Okay, so that's that portion of it, and then the opposite one should be the same. So they're both the same, identical. So when you record on these devices, if I push record, as you can see, the little red light pops up. And then for this one, if I push record, you have this bright light that pops up on the side. So both of them have light indicators. I do prefer the more discreet look though. And then if you ever wanted to hide that, you could put a little piece of gaffer tape there, whereas this one on the corners, you won't be able to put the gaffer tape on either corner just because it might just start peeling. I mean, you can hide it, but it's a little bit harder to maintain it hidden. So between these two, what DJI doesn't have, and also Rode, is this button here, which is the noise canceling button. So if you have ambient noise in the background or some hum in the background, say from a cooler, AC unit, cars going by, you push this button and basically it deadens that ambient noise around you, and it just picks up your voice a lot more cleaner. So that's an awesome feature to have, which is super innovative compared to something like this. Okay, so since this top mesh here is super clean, they don't have the headphone jack on there. They have it on the side. So if you do decide to use a lav mic, you're gonna need to run this sideways like this in your garment, and then run the wire up, or you're gonna need like a 90 if you're gonna run it vertically, whereas the DJI has it plugged directly in. The one thing I do not like about the DJI is this magnet system and the way it perches inside of there. So you see that little shelf right in there? If this magnet is down, it won't let it sit. Okay? Or if it's too far to one side, it won't let it slide in. So that could be an issue. As you can see, it's not going in. It has to be all the way up, squared up, and not touching. Whereas the Hollyland, it doesn't matter where it's at because the case is deep enough to accept it. And then once it's in there, clicks in, this all registers everything. Also on the DJI, you don't have any LEDs to show what's charging, what's not charging. They're both matte finishes. This has ribs on it, this doesn't. I like the fact that I could see my battery life on this pack versus not seeing it on this pack at all. Okay, it's almost just like a box. I don't like these ridges too much just because they could potentially collect dirt. Both of them close nicely. USB-C on both of them. Most of the wireless microphones are USB-C anyway. So just like that. None of this gets triggered when this gets open. So those are the aesthetics on the outside. So definitely a clear win for the setup on the Hollyland just right away. The Hollyland is a little bit larger, so that could be an issue for you, but you do get a bigger setup here. So the screen setup, you have the screen and then this knob. So now to compare receivers. Okay, so as you can see, this one has a clip on it. Everything's good. This one has no clip. I'll get into that in a little bit. This one here, output, input, so headphones. This one goes straight to your camera. Okay, you have the power button and stuff on the side. You have your headphones on the opposite side, so it does have those. And then you have the USB port. You have pickups down here, you have pickups here, and then you have your attachments here. So this one you plug it in, so if you want to run it on your phone, you could plug in your auxiliary to it, the aux cable, plug it into your phone. This one actually has your these little things, so they're super tight in there, but these little clips that slide into here, which makes it modular. So you just slide this on and you can plug it into your phone. There's pros and cons on both. The thing I like about having a cord is I could just replace the cord. It's easier to find, whereas these little clips here, you could potentially lose them. Okay, and they're kind of delicate, these little clips. So in order for you to slide them in, you take this and basically line this T up with this T, and see the little arrow, and then that's the direction that it slides in. Okay, so you gotta push it in and make sure it's flush, and then there you go. To take it out, you gotta do the same thing. You gotta push it out. So if you gotta change between, like, as you can see, it made a mark on my finger. That's how hard I had to push to get it off. So if you foresee yourself changing between equipment like your phone and maybe like iPhone and Galaxy or something, that could be an annoyance. But what really gets me is this clip. So just a up close inspection of this. As you can see, it makes all this plasticky noise. Makes it sound super cheap, and it's super lightweight. This is like cheap. It feels real cheap. It feels like it's gonna break. This is a concern. Every time you want to utilize this with, say, your phone or the clip, something has to come off. It's not like I could put it on here once and just leave it alone. And even though, like, after further inspection, even though like it's on, so like if I put this on here like this and like slid it on, I don't even want to push it on because it feels like it's gonna break. It's so delicate feeling. But even after you get it on, I mean, it takes some force to slide it on like that. Taking it off, I gotta like put my nail on here, like pry this thing off. It's like super tight. Okay, as you can see, it marks my finger. That's how tight this is to get it in. So we'll go over the receiver. So I'm gonna power up the receiver. The little logo pops up. I need to pair it up to this just in order for me to go through the settings. The nice thing about this receiver is it does have that haptic feedback motor, so it sits there and vibrates, it oscillates when it's powered on, powered off. Okay, so now we have the volume lines here. I don't know how easy that is to see, probably not that easy, so I'm going to briefly go over this stuff. It gives me the battery life and everything, so I could swipe down to enter the mode. Keep in mind this touchscreen is only about this wide, so from there to there, it's not this whole bar. It looks nice, but it's a little bit a pain in the butt if you have large fingers like I do, so bear with me. We have mono. You click on mono, and basically you could click, if you have a single one paired up, it's going to be mono. Okay, if you click it again, you get a safety channel, so if this thing clips or whatever, it goes to the red. The safety channel will bring it one, I think it's like 5 dBs down or something like that, so that way you don't have that clipping. Then you have stereo mode, which takes a left and right channel, so when both of these are paired up, it'll give you that stereo mode. And then you're back to mono, then you swipe up. Okay, then we're going to go to the next one. So you could swipe from left to right on here, or you could just click the next image. You have receiver gain, set the dB levels there, click the next image. Volume for your headphones, the dB. Next one, transmitter settings, so that would be the settings for this. You click it, and you could do low cut, click it on or off. Okay, so we could do that. Swipe up. Transmitter gains, TX 1 and 2, so you can set those. And then you have your record stop block, so that's the, where is it? That's this button here, the record. Then you have auto record. You have vibration, which of course on and off, and LED brightness. Then you go to the next settings, and this is for the transmitter. So you have your brightness, your sync or link device, your language, the date and time, factory reset, information of the device, and the version and stuff, and then your compliance information. So most people aren't going to use this. And then you're back to the device screen. Like I said, it's hard to navigate this window here. It's just so tiny if you have large fingers. If maybe you're a female, you might have smaller, daintier fingers. But for us guys, even if you're a guy, you might have daintier fingers. But for the most part, most of us guys are going to have a hard time navigating through this. It looks nice, but yeah, definitely something to consider. Okay, now we'll take out the Hollyland. I'll just make sure I turn it on just so you get everything linked. So we're linked. So on the transmitter here, of course I could go here, set the levels for left. So I could do it through this clicky wheel, and you could hear it. Or I could do it by touching this screen, changing the levels. I like using the wheel just because touching it's a little hard, just like it is here, because I have large fingers and we have a left and a right because it's on stereo. You could select by turning, okay, or selecting each one. And then you have this button here, which is like a back, it's like a multi-function button, and you could click it. Now we go to mic 1. Here we have the ENC, which is environment noise canceling, so your background stuff. But when it's activated, you'll notice that this will turn green. So you can activate it on the device itself or off of the camera area, which is super nice. Same thing with your microphone, so you could turn it on and off. As you can see, it went red, so we can manipulate different channels. So if you have one person talking and another person talking, you could kick it on and off. And then your backup recording, you could select that, and it doesn't show anything there, but it activates it on the side because the little record thing is on there. Now if I go one more over, it'll show microphone 2, and it has the same exact setup. So super simple, super straightforward. I do enjoy having this as an option, this wheel over just the touchscreen, because like I said, us guys will probably prefer this a lot more than the other. So that's pretty neat. And then you also have the ability to run the... Also, what's cool about this setup is if you accidentally put in the headphone jack and you didn't mean to, it'll pop up as a little headphone guy on your display, so that way you know it needs to be in the camera if you're trying to pair it to the camera. So you see, cool little feature that might be overlooked by some people, but I do like the way it displays the camera, and then on this side it displays headphone. So if you don't have your transmitters on, what you can also do is click this button here in the middle, and you're given record mode. So you can go into record mode, stereo, mono, safety track, so you could select those. You go over one more, mic settings, so you select that. So mic gains, you have your audio record, auto off, LED brightnesses, storage, so you have those options. Then you go one more over, you have phone speaker, on or off, go back, EQ, hi-fi, low cut, vocal boost, system settings. This is if you disconnect from say your transmitter here, say you hold this and for some reason it goes into pairing mode when you were trying to get noise canceling to turn on. I recommend doing noise canceling on here just because it's more straightforward. You could go to your sync or pairing area, and then you hold this and it will say, is this in pairing mode? If the light's blinking really fast, it's in pairing mode, and then it'll sync up right away if you lose sync. Then you got your brightness settings, you have your upgrade mode, date, time, language, factory reset, and then your version info. So everything could be accessed by keeping this off. If this is turned on, then you know there's some other stuff that pops up. So for convenience, depending on what you're trying to navigate through, I'd recommend to pair this on for certain things, and also to pair this off when you don't need to dial any of these settings in, but you want to dial in the settings here, just so you don't get the two confused. So aesthetics, just like the transmitter, this has that ribbing. This is more of a smooth finish here. I do like how it looks like a camera, like a vintage camera setup. It looks classy. It has that classic look and it looks classy, whereas this looks more modern, but it feels cheap. This feels like I'm getting good quality out of my purchase for sure. Just definitely more robust feeling. But to each is their own. I do prefer this look, and I prefer the setting layout over this. This requires a little bit more hands-on manipulating. This keeps it simple, straightforward, and I'm able to toggle through everything nicely. So these are the carrying cases that you get. We'll start from the jankiest one to the better quality one. So I think DJI has the jankiest one, has their logo. I'd be ashamed to put my logo on a bag like this. It has like little pockets, and then that slides in. You could carry your lav mic and stuff. Janky. Rode is second to that. And this being an older generation, DJI should have picked up on what Rode was doing and at least did something like this. But this is all you get. A little neoprene bag, and that's it. Now, Hollyland, they included a hard shell, a lanyard. When you zip it closed, it has some water resistance here. The zippers inverted with this coating on the outside, so that way no water beads in. Keeps it nice and secure. You have a nice hard shell in here, so I'll take a little bit of a beating. Here's this little flap so that way you don't scratch anything. So when this is in here, you know, it doesn't scratch the top or whatnot. Keeps things a little bit more cleaner. Also, you have your zipper pouch in the back here, so that way you can put your lav mic and stuff and keep all that nice and secure. So they definitely put in a little bit more effort than these brands here. For the DJI, you get 2 wind muffs, of course, and then you get a USB-C to USB-A cable to charge it, and you get your auxiliary here, which is a short stiff cable that allows it to keep its shape because it has some type of structure inside, probably a stiff wire in there, so that way it maintains its shape. So these are the accessories you get with the Hollyland. You get 2 wind muffs. You have a USB-C to lightning, so you can plug it in. You have a USB-C 90 to USB-C straight. You have your auxiliary cable. It's nice because it's short and compact, okay, and it's spring loaded, or it's curly cued, whatever you want to call it. And you have USB-C to charge it to USB-C, USB-C-A to USB-C to charge it. You got to make sure you put this on correctly. So there's a little notch here which corresponds with this and this side. So you got to make sure that when you clip it on right so the grooves line up with here. That's pretty nice that they have little indicator marks. So you just line the grooves up with this recessed area, push it on like such, and then once they're on, it's on. So you don't have to worry about that coming off. They have little notches so that way you can still get to the buttons, and then also still plug in your microphone off to the side if you don't want to remove this. To compare the audio adaptability, so your lav mics, I don't know if DJI makes one, but I didn't get one from them. I didn't purchase one. I purchased Rhodes, and I also have the Hollyland wireless mic. So just to give you a size comparison, Hollyland does come with a windscreen like this, a dead cat, and it also comes with this foam one. Rode has their little baggie that it comes with, and then their foam one. Okay, so Hollyland has a 90-degree elbow. Rode is straight, so if you prefer the 90 versus the straight, that could be a determining factor. Both of them are super thin as far as wires are concerned, which keeps it real discreet. Hollyland has a bigger wind muff here compared to Rode, so as you can see the size difference. The clips, Hollyland's is a little bit larger. Okay, and then of course let me take off the little wind muff. So here's the Rhodes. If you want to put it in some gaffer's tape and be even more discreet, here's the difference between Hollyland and Rode, the size difference. So Rode is definitely a lot smaller, but I mean, size could also affect the quality of the audio. So it's kind of up to you on what you choose for the lav mics. Both of them will work in each other's audio devices, so it's not a big concern. And then depending on how you are trying to discreetly use this, some people just fold gaffer's tape over this and then put it in their article of clothing. Some people clip it on their hat and leave this wind muff on. And if that's someone like you, maybe, you know, something a little bit more tinier like this might be better. If you have the Hollyland, you might need the 90-degree elbow, just so when you plug this in, everything sits flush. Like I said, if you preferred this setup, you want everything to sit flat if you're going to use a lav mic. If you use this one, it's going to stick out too far and you could potentially damage your lav mic cable. So something like this is what you're going to want to look for. If you plug it into something on top, that also works. But if you have it directly overhead like this, and this goes up to your body, you could be pulling on it, so you'll want to run something straight like such. So to keep things a little neutral, what I'm going to do is just use the Rode auxiliary cable to pair all the receivers to the GoPro Media Mod, just to keep things neutral. Since we don't really care about the Rode, I'm going to still get the recordings from this and compare them here as well, but I figured just use their stuff just to keep things even. And then since the lav mics, we don't really want to compare those just because people could buy any lav mic they really want. I'm just going to record the transmitter part of the devices, just so that way we get that audio directly into the media mod. Since I wanted to utilize these outside because I get a lot of air traffic, what I realized was, since it's a Sunday, I'm not getting a lot of planes flying overhead, like the loud jets and stuff, and I want to get some recording just so you guys have some samples and I could get this out to you. So I'm gonna turn on some background music, and of course the cooler's on so you can hear that in the background, and I'm gonna tell you about where my position is in the house relative to the audio, and we could see what that sounds like as I'm navigating within those distances. And then of course you're gonna hear the sound of these microphones throughout other videos I post, because I'm gonna use this equipment, especially the Hollyland one, the Hollyland brand, because it has the noise canceling, so when jets are flying overhead, this will definitely help in mitigating that additional unwanted noise. This is what the media mod sounds like with me directly behind it on omnidirectional, about 6 to 12 inches away from the recording device. This is what the audio quality sounds like on the Lark Max from Hollyland, 6 to 12 inches away from the recording device. This is what the audio quality sounds like from the Lark Max from Hollyland with noise canceling on for ENC at 6 to 12 inches away. This is what the audio quality sounds like from the Rode Wireless Go, 6 to 12 inches away. This is what the audio quality sounds like from the DJI wireless microphone, 6 to 12 inches away. So this is the audio quality of the media mod on the GoPro at 6 to 12 inches away, with the music in the background playing about 20 feet away and the TV going on about 5 feet away. So this is the audio quality of the Hollyland Lark Max at about 6 to 12 inches away, with the audio playing at 20 feet away and the TV on playing at about 5 feet away. So this is the sound quality at 6 to 12 inches away from the microphone with noise canceling on of the Hollyland Lark Max. This is the sound quality of the Hollyland Lark Max with the audio 20 feet away and the TV on at 5 feet away on mono. This is the sound quality of the Hollyland Lark Max at 6 to 12 inches away with the audio at 20 feet and the TV on at 5 feet away on mono with noise canceling. This is the sound quality of the Rode Wireless Go at 6 to 12 inches away with the audio coming from 20 feet away and the TV on at 5 feet away. This is the sound quality of the DJI wireless microphone at 6 to 12 inches away, with the audio coming from 20 feet away and the TV on at 5 feet away on mono. For the verdict. Okay, so Rode, I would definitely pass on Rode, especially on the new stuff. They're overly priced for what you get, and they're not innovative, so not a fan. Okay. Between these two, the DJI and the Hollyland. So the DJI, it's nice, the touchscreen, it's compact, that's all nice and dandy. I like the haptic feedback that it gets when you power it on, power it off. But this isn't really innovative. It's decent, but it's not innovative. I do like the Hollyland a lot. So what sets this apart from this is the fact that you have your display LEDs on here, so I know that they're charging. I know how much charge I have left on here. Okay, they have automatic activation here, so I open it up, I know what I'm dealing with, if my batteries are dead, whatnot. Okay, I get all that information right away, and I like the fact that this has that noise canceling for the environment. So environmental noise canceling, the ENC, it's super nice, especially because I live near the airport. Planes go by all the time, so being able to activate that, or if it's super windy, I'm able to activate that and know that my audio is going to be good. Whereas this one, it doesn't have that noise canceling, neither does the Rode. But I think for the price, coming in at $30 cheaper on average, I mean, this one gives you a lot more bang for your buck. It gives you a lot more than this, so I definitely would prefer this. And the biggest issue I have with this one, besides the fact that it doesn't turn on and all that stuff when you open up the box, which is kind of like, you know, stuff you can work around, is these adapters. I do not like these adapters having to be able to take them on and off all the time in order to switch between my setups. I don't like that. It's hard. Not only is it hard to do, they seem like they're delicate, and that's the failure point over time. This is robust and you can rely on it, whereas this, if one of these breaks, then you're screwed. Trying to get a replacement part, you can't just go down to a Walmart or something and pick up a cable, whereas this one you can, and still have your setup ready to go, so you could keep filming. So that's going to complete today's video. I hope you liked this video. If you did, give it a thumbs up. It's greatly appreciated. If you want to see content like this and other content I'll be posting in the near future, consider subscribing. Until next time, I'll see y'all in the next one. Thanks for watching.